Okay, it's 1 p.m. We're going to go ahead and get this press conference started. My name is AJ Lester. I'm a public information officer here on the Eaton Fire. Today, you're going to hear from a number of speakers to give an incident update on the Eaton Fire. And then if you hold your questions, we will have a question and answer portion at the end. The first speaker is going to be the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors Chair, Catherine Barger.
Thank you, AJ. Good afternoon. One of the most common questions I'm hearing from residents impacted, especially by the Eaton Fire, is what do I do now and when can I go home? Our neighbors want to know where to go for immediate help, how to get information about their home, when they can return, and what long-term resources are available. I want people to know this evening at 4 p.m. there will be a virtual meeting for all residents impacted by the Eaton Fire to get their questions answered. Rest assured, this is going to be just one of many of the virtual meetings that we are going to be having. We are going to allow the residents to be engaged and get the questions answered that they need to move forward. This morning, we heard from our Insurance Commissioner, Ricardo Lara, regarding what the Department of Insurance is doing to help people as they navigate the insurance coverage that they may or may not have. This is an important thing to note. Ricardo Lara has set up an 800 number, which I'm going to put up on our website. But I want you all to know that we are going to be working diligently with the state to make sure that those that are insured get the financial help they need. I'm also hearing that people, I know yesterday we announced that FEMA has set up a website, and I'm seeing that people are filling out the form and being denied. I'm following up on that to find out what is going on because it is completely mind-boggling to me that people who have lost everything are filling out a form as told, and then are getting an immediate denial. So if you have done that, please, 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 I'm going to try to get an answer within 24 hours to find out what's going on so that you all get the answers you deserve. If you have any questions and that you want answered during the meeting tonight, you can drop the questions in a chat during the live stream or submit them ahead of time via email to 2025.eaton@firenet.gov. Again, 2025.eaton, E-A-T-O-N, at firenet.gov. We've also extended the opportunity to utility companies to participate and answer your questions. I know that's another question we're getting is, when is my power going to come on? When is my gas going to come on? These are questions that we're going to be addressing tonight, so I would encourage you all to participate. And last but not least, and I've said it, and we've got elected town council up in the Altadena area, and I know of at least 4 have lost their homes. These are elected officials that are representing the community, and I want you all to know that they are with us. They'll be there on the virtual call tonight and are very, very, very much a part of the community. And I just want to acknowledge them because it's important for us to recognize that behind every single thing you're seeing on the TV, there are people's lives who have been impacted, and it is not lost on me. So with that, I'm going to introduce now Los Angeles County Fire Department Fire Chief Anthony Maroney to give you an update on the Eaton Fire.
So good afternoon. Thank you, Supervisor Barger. The Eaton Fire is estimated to be 13,956 acres with 3% containment. We have over 7,000 structures damaged or destroyed and 1,527 firefighting personnel on scene. Yesterday afternoon, the Eaton Fire made a run towards historic Mount Wilson. The Mount Wilson Observatory and the telescope are undamaged thanks to the efforts of our firefighters and observatory staff. No buildings or infrastructure have been damaged or destroyed at Mount Wilson. We are appreciative to our many mutual aid and out-of-state fire partners for providing assistance to Los Angeles County in our time of greatest need. The current red flag event that we are under right now will expire, at 6 p.m. this evening. However, we do anticipate another red flag event beginning on Monday, and I can assure everybody LA County will be prepared. Before I close, I would like to thank Board Chair and 5th District Supervisor Catherine Barger for her unwavering support and leadership. I would also like to acknowledge the tireless efforts of all first responders who have put themselves in harm's way to protect residents and property. And to our residents impacted by this devastating fire siege, please rest assured that we will not stop until the fires are fully contained, and we will continue to be here for you as we plan for the repopulation, recovery, and rebuilding that will be occurring. Thank you. I would now like to introduce Assistant Sheriff Myron Johnson of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
Well, good afternoon. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department has deployed over 500 sheriff's personnel and still have actively deployed additional personnel to the fires. And that's in addition to our normal patrol staffing functions. Deputies have actively patrolled the evacuated areas and increased their presence in those areas for looting, deterrence, as well as burglary suppression efforts. Overall, the evacuations for the Palisades, Eaton, Hearst, Kenneth, and Lydia fires, evacuation orders approximately 100,053 residents are under evacuation orders, and approximately 57,830 structures remain at risk. Evacuation warnings, approximately 166,800 residents are under evacuation warnings, and approximately 50,837 structures remain at risk. As you heard our sheriff speak about yesterday and this morning, we have a curfew enacted in the affected areas. It's been established in the Palisades and the Eaton fire areas, and it's a mandatory evacuation zones, that will be in effect from 6 p.m. this afternoon until 6 a.m. tomorrow until further notice. This curfew will be strictly enforced and is being taken to enhance public safety, protect property, and prevent looting in areas where residents have been evacuated. We ask that all individuals comply with the curfew and stay clear of the impacted areas unless you're an authorized personnel member, such as a fire representative or an emergency first responder. Anyone found in violation of the curfew will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor under LA County Code Section 2.68.320, and conviction of that section results in a fine up to $1,000 and jail time. We understand this is an extremely stressful and challenging moment for our residents in this community, but we appreciate the public's cooperation, and we will work together during this crisis. We also have additional assets from the National Guard that are assisting in law enforcement efforts during this catastrophe. We requested the National Guard's assistance yesterday. Several National Guard members arrived last night and were deployed in the Eaton fire area and are assisting with road closures and critical infrastructure protection efforts. As additional National Guard personnel arrive, the Sheriff's Department will strategically coordinate their deployment to both the areas in collaboration with LAPD, Pasadena Police Department, Santa Monica Police Department, Azusa Police Department, and Arcadia Police Department. There continues to be criminal activity in the Eaton area, and we continue to make additional arrests since yesterday, but these numbers are still fluctuating, and we're gathering the information. In total, we have made about 18 arrests between Eaton and the Palisades fire, 15 in Eaton, and then 3 in Palisades. Charges include possession of narcotics, possession of burglary tools, burglary, identity theft, looting. One suspect was on active parole and was also charged with possession of a concealed firearm. Unfortunately, we have confirmed 8 deaths in our jurisdiction, 6 in the Eaton fire area and 2 in the Palisades County area. Our Homicide Bureau is working closely with the LA County Coroner's Office to respond to any deaths that have been reported. Our detectives have started to process certain investigations related to the fire, but they have to wait for access due to the dangerous conditions that still exist, such as down power lines, leaking gas, and spot fires that are occurring. And just as Chief Maroney indicated, I'd like to acknowledge the hardworking men and women out there on the front line, making sure this community is safe. And this department is dedicated to apply every resource we have to be with you until we can get a handle on this tragic event. And now with that, I'd like to introduce Operations Section Chief Don Fergulia.
Can I take liberty? I just, when I was done, I turned around and my colleague, Supervisor Janice Hahn is here, and I'd like to say a few words, but I want to publicly thank you, Supervisor Hahn, because I know that you've been working as Metro Chair to help navigate the transportation system as it relates to the impact of these fires. So with that, Supervisor Hahn.
Thank you, Supervisor Barger. I'm here to support you in any way. These fires have not touched the 4th supervisorial district per se. I'm here supporting you, and thank you for your tremendous leadership on this. I've been touring your communities here in Altadena, and I am, like everyone else, devastated by what I'm seeing. Thanks again to the men and women in the Sheriff's Department, the Fire Department, CAL FIRE, all the fire departments that are here. And I specifically wanted to come see some of the stations that were from the 4th District. So some of my men and women from the 4th District are here. I talked to Norwalk, Paramount, I think Commerce is here. So I just wanted to tell them thank you for coming, and just make sure everybody realizes these firefighters are not going home, right? They are here round the clock. Appreciate everybody who's feeding them, who's making sure that they have an opportunity to sleep and take naps. Thank you for that. They have been amazing. But as Supervisor Barger said, as the chair of Metro, I've been on the phone with the CEO of Metro, Stephanie Wiggins, to get regular updates about our system. Big news is we will continue the free fares throughout the weekend. So free fares on our buses and trains through the weekend. Also, our system is very resilient. Since the fire started on Tuesday, only 2% of our buses have been canceled, none for the trains. And Metro will be unveiling this afternoon an overlay map that will show the evacuation centers around the county as it relates to the Metro system and stations. So that will be available to the public this afternoon. We know that keeping people moving, even during a disaster like that, is important. So thank you.
Okay. All right. Good day, everybody. My name is Don Fergulia. I'm the Operations Section Chief for California Interagency Incident Management Team 5. I'm going to give you a quick operational update for the fire today. Got me now. Okay. We're going to start over here on the right flank as we're looking up the hill here in Santa Anita Canyon as we come into the community of Sierra Madre. A lot of really good progress here along the fire's edge. Mop up patrol, and we expect to gain significant containment in this area this afternoon and this evening after we feel a little bit more comfortable and the red flag warning expires. We realize that there's a lot of work in here, and it's going to take many, many days for us to get through all the damage that has occurred here in the front country. So we ask for patience, and we know that that's not very easy, but that is what we are asking for at this time. As we move across the fire down here along the 210 corridor into Altadena area, again, this area still has a ton of activity going on in it, not just fire suppression, but also damage assessment, things of that nature. We're really diligent about what we're doing in there, and we want to continue those efforts as the days progress. As we come up here into the general area of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, we're looking really good through all of this red on the map you see here. Boots on the ground are engaged. We're mopping up. We're using rotor wing. We're using aircraft in this area to hold this corner. We know this corner is critical for us, so we're making good progress here. As we move into the forest, into the general area, Mount Wilson was already mentioned. We did have to defensive fire around that last night, and everything's looking really, really good up there. We're not out of the woods yet. We still have more work to do up there, and we're ready to receive it, though, should that become necessary. Down the hill into Chantry Flat and the Santa Anita River, again, very challenging terrain for the troops out there. We're going to keep going after it, and in the coming days, you should see less and less smoke. So thank you very much. And next, Jason Schillinger, Unified IC.
I'll let you take that.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. Like my operations section chief mentioned, my name is Jason Schillinger, one of the Unified Incident Commanders. And to my side over here, I have several of my other Unified Incident Commanders with me today. First and foremost, I want to extend my deepest sympathy to the families and individuals affected by this devastating event. We recognize the fear and uncertainty, certainly you may be feeling, and our hearts are with you during this challenging time. Our top priority remains the safety and well-being of all residents and emergency personnel involved. We are also grateful for the support of all agencies who sent resources to our aid. Mutual aid agreements and cooperations with surrounding areas have been essential in containing the fire and protecting more lives and property. Firefighters are working around the clock in difficult conditions to ensure that this fire is contained and that no further lives and property are put in danger. We are confident that we are making significant progress, but it's important to remain on guard and follow safety advisories. I want to remind everyone that the safety of our community and first responder is our highest priority. At this time, evacuation orders remain in place in many areas, and we urge all residents to follow the directives immediately. Our Unified Incident Command team has been in constant contact with state and local agencies to ensure that we have the resources needed to deal with this fire. We have 2 incident management teams assigned here. One team is focusing on suppression and one team is focusing on recovery, but both of our teams are focusing on one common goal. While we are not out of the woods yet, I'm confident in our ability to continue working together and to get through this crisis. The fire will be contained and we will rebuild stronger than before. In the coming days, we will be providing additional updates as the situation evolves. It is also important to note that investigations into the cause of this fire is ongoing, and we will share the information as soon as it becomes available. We are committed to transparency and ensuring that all factors are thoroughly examined. I ask for you continued cooperation and patience. Please remain alert to updates from local authorities, and if you have not already done so, follow all the evacuation orders and advisories. We will continue to work relentlessly to ensure that the situation is resolved and quickly as possible. Thank you for your time.
And before we open it up to questions, I want to acknowledge State Senator Sasha Renee Perez, who's been to each and every one of these press briefings. Thank you for being such an incredible representative, as well as Assembly Member John Harabadian. Thank you as well. And also our city representative from the city of La Cañada Flint Ridge, Michael Davitt. Thank you for being here. And then we've got U.S. Fire Administration, Dr. Moore Merrill, right back here. Thank you as well as the U.S. Forest Service Chief Garcia. Thank you. So with that, we will open it up. Oh, and I'm sorry. We've got our fire chiefs from the city of Sierra Madre, Chief Bartlett, fire chief from the city of Pasadena, Chad Augustin. So now with that, we'll open it up for questions, correct? Okay.
Thank you, everyone. That'll conclude our speakers today. So if you have a question, please state your name and the agency, and we raise your hand, and we'll have our PIO come to you, and we'll direct your question at who you'd like to go to.
Craig Figner.
Arcadia Fire Chief Swin. I'm so sorry. I'm so
Question.
You got quite the media setup here. It works well. Supervisor, I wanted to ask you, there were a lot of people who wanted to get past the National Guardsmen, or guards people, the troops, to get to property, to get clothes, medicine, and they had proper ID. They didn't seem to be troublemakers, and they were really bothered by that. I understand there's been a change in the instructions, so long as it's not during those curfew hours of what, 6 p to 6 a.
So I'm heading up there after this to find out what's going on. I mean, there's no question in my mind that I was on the way here, talked to a family that's lost their home. and they want to get up there, and their experience was different. They were allowed in showing proper ID. We've got to be consistent, but we also have to recognize there are people that are going up there and doing things that are criminal. And I loved the fact that we talked about the arrest, but I think I love most is we have a DA, Nathan Hochman, who said he's going to prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. So I want that to be taken, and I want everyone to hear it. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to follow each and every one of those cases to make sure that it does occur. But I'm going to follow up on that, and we'll get a clarification. I mean, the National Guard came in pretty fast, very fast, and we want to make sure we've got a consistent message. I know I've talked to also constituents who've said that the sheriffs have been very, very compassionate and given grace and let them go up, especially if they want to get their medications. So we're going to be working on that. So stay tuned.
Thank you. Hi, Supervisor. Quick question here. Jason Hamilton from Tri-County News. I have a question about donations. A lot of people have reached out to me, major corporations, for example, that would like to make some significant donations to help out with people that are still left behind. I've suggested things like chainsaws, rakes, gloves, respirators, masks, things like that. 2 points. A, can you, is there a list or a cohesive page that someone could go to look for things that might be necessary to donate? And B, is there a person of contact that's not necessarily the Red Cross that's more localized that we can get these items to that and get distributed to the residents that are in need of those things?
Yeah, and thank you for that question. I know yesterday when I was coming over here, Homeboys dropped off a huge order. They wanted to get up into the community. So, I mean, it's across as horrible as this is, you see the best in people. You also see the worst, but you see the best. And you can visit LA Works, all one word, laworks.com/2025 fires to get more information. I know that Flintridge Center, Octavia's Bookshelf are also accepting and distributing donations. So you can reach out, and Octavia's is an amazing bookstore, by the way. But you can go ahead and reach out to them as well. They're accepting donations, and they're going to distribute them into the community. Thank you. And we'll make sure through our Emergency Operations Center that the information is up there as well, because we are getting asked about that. And I would say this, and the DA touched on it this morning. You've got scams taking place. You've got GoFundMe that are not legitimate. Please go to a website, and if it doesn't pass the smell test, or if it sounds too good to be true, run it by you call my office, for God's sakes. I'll flush it out for you, but please do not fall for these scams. And I'm sorry that I even have to say it, but especially the GoFundMe. I've talked to people that already have seen GoFundMe, and they take a picture off of Facebook and put it up there of a family, and they say, we're devastated, we lost everything. And then you see the donations start, and they start low, by the way, with the donation amount they want, and then they keep increasing it. Because when you start low and you hit it, you can keep increasing it, but if you don't hit it, you don't get the money. So be cognizant of the fact that there are scammers out there. And by the way, if you're caught, the DA is going to prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law.
There have been a number of water distributions throughout Pasadena and Altadena. Can you talk about the status of the water in the local area?
You mean in terms of boiling?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, why don't you do that?
So I'll break out question that with you, because we don't have someone from the water here to talk about that, but we'll break out and we'll do an interview on the sidebar after that, if that's okay. Do we have any other questions?
And my understanding is on Pasadena's website, there is a map outlining where, if you live in a certain proximity area, that you have to boil your water. So they are on a boil water alert for certain parts of the areas impacted by the fires. But we'll get you more information on that.
Hi, I'm Morgan from ABC News. I'm wondering if anyone's here to speak specifically about the level of devastation in Altadena. I saw a local official quote as saying that perhaps only a dozen or so homes are left in the area. Is anyone able to confirm that or speak on that?
I'm sorry, they said that there's only about a dozen or so homes left in there. Well, that is an exaggeration, but I will tell you, it looks like a war zone. I've never seen anything like it. You can go blocks where there's no homes, and then you go a block where you'll see a little bit of smoldering on a tree, but none of the homes have been impacted. We don't have a final number yet, do we, Chief Maroney?
No, we don't.
No, but there's no question that especially around Eaton Canyon. I was absolutely shocked is not even the word, for the destruction that it caused in that area. And then I went up to Farnsworth Park and gone. So we'll have a final number, but there are homes standing, especially as you head more toward Lincoln. But it's spotty. I mean, this fire was unpredictable. You had the winds going every which way and going strong, so you could have embers traveling miles, which is what we saw. And so that's why we had this like a whack-a-mole.
Hi, Ashley Mackey with ABC7. A couple of people, residents who have been displaced, have asked me about mail and how they get that and forwarded to them and holding packages, Amazon, that kind of thing. What should I tell them?
So the U.S. Post Office, and I think it's going to be at the Lincoln branch, is going to be holding mail. They're not delivering, obviously, for obvious reasons. But those that have been impacted by the fire, they can reach out to the post office, and they are coordinating an effort to make sure that people get access to their mail. And then for those that who still have their homes but are not getting the mail delivered, they're going to be coordinating that as well. So that's going to be rolled out through the United States Postal Service, but they are on top of it. Thank you for that question.
That will conclude our press conference. Anyone that would like to break out, we'll have Spanish-speaking PIOs along with other POs on the side. Thank you all for coming, and stay safe out there.